2022 regular meeting of the Paris City Council is hereby called to order at 5:30 p.m. For the purpose of this meeting, there is a quorum of the council present. Item number 2 and 3, Mr. Gene Anderson will deliver the invocation, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Mayor Pro Tem Hughes. Please rise.
May we pray? Heavenly Father, we first of all want to thank you for that unspeakable gift of salvation. We thank you, Father, for your willingness to pay the price for our redemption, and we just pray that we would live our lives in a way that would show our love and our appreciation for that and that would glorify your name. We pray for our council members tonight, Father, as they conduct the business of the city, that you would guide and direct them. And Father, might we work as one to improve our city in a way that would be pleasing in your sight. For we pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 4 is the Citizens Forum. Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city council members or employees, as well as individual personal appeals, are not appropriate for Citizens Forum. If necessary, the City Council may convene into executive session under Chapter 551 of the Texas Local Government Code regarding any item on this agenda. The public forum is now open. Is there anyone who wishes to address the council? Please come forward. Please state your name and address for the record, Mr. DeGelder.
Hello, I am Tim DeGelder. I live at 4261 Castlegate. And I just want to take a time to thank everyone on the council, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, for allowing me to serve this community as your library director. It's been a pleasure, but I just want to take the time to publicly thank everyone. Linda, thank you for serving on the council advisory point. Grayson, thank you for giving me the opportunity to work here. My staff has been wonderful. They're open for change. I want the public to be involved. Volunteer for your library. It is a public library. I hope that maybe I've created a spark in your community so that the next person that comes in can do more things. But I'm going to miss you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DeGelder, very much. Any other persons wishing to address the council? All right. The Citizens Forum is now closed. The consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are approved by a single action of the council, with such approval applicable to all items appearing on the consent agenda. A council member may request any item to be removed from the consent agenda and considered as a separate item. Does any member wish to remove an item from the agenda for discussion? If not, is there a motion to approve all items on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you. A second? All those in favor of the consent agenda as is, please say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 17, discuss, conduct a public hearing, and act on an ordinance approving and adopting revisions to the comprehensive plan and future land use plan map for the City of Paris as it pertains to City Block 170-C, lots 14C, 14D, 14E, 17, 13A, 13, 12, 11, 14-B, part of 14, 16, 2-1, located at 2510, 2520, 2350, 2340, 2330, 2320, 2310, 2296, 2286, 2530, 2640, 2710, and 2280 Southeast 3rd Street, Newberry Addition, CB 167, Block 167, Lot 4, being located at 2705 Southeast 3rd Street, City Block 167, Lot 3B and 5, being located at 2400 Block and 2735 Southeast 3rd Street, Paris, Lamar County, Texas, from a commercial district, C, to a low-density residential district, LDR, making other findings and provisions related to the subject, providing a repealer clause, a severability clause, and providing an effective date. Staff, you have a presentation, please.
Thank you, Mayor, Pro Tem, members of council. First, I'd like to begin my presentation with a brief acknowledgement on the mayor's flawless reading of that agenda. Very well done. We'll try to make them shorter in the future for you.
Thank you. Chad Lindsay probably did a better job at planning and zoning.
The item before you is a follow-up from the re-guiding of the property and rezoning of property located within this district at the request of Mr. Austin Sugg, as represented by Adam Bolton. That action's been completed. This is the follow-up to that. This is, as shown on the diagram, the revisions to the comprehensive plan. There were no objections. There were two express support items for this initiation of the city to change the comprehensive plan, essentially guiding the property the same way it's currently being used. Also, I want to further state that there is no rezonings to these properties. They will remain commercially zoned or agriculturally zoned, as the case may be, and so there is no intended initiation of changes in that regard. So with that, we are recommending your approval this evening of an ordinance amending the comprehensive plan for the subject properties.
Thank you. I will now open the public hearing and ask that anyone who wishes to come forward and speak in support or opposition of this item, state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Council, is there any discussion or questions? Seeing none, I will hear a motion.
I move that we approve this request for a comprehensive plan amendment from commercial to low-density residential from the future land use map based upon the current and future uses of this two-block area along Southeast 3rd Street as shown on the attached map above here.
Thank you, and a second.
I second.
All right, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 18, discuss, conduct a public hearing, and act on an ordinance considering the petition of Donald Wilson on behalf of Sunrise Ministries International Church for a change in zoning from a neighborhood service district, NS, to a commercial district, C, in the city of Paris, Block 249, Lot 35-A, located at 3055 Clarksville Street, LCAD 17987. Mr. Mack?
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Mr. Wilson has submitted this request to rezone the property in order to proceed with a special use permit for remodeling of the formerly occupied nursing home in this location into a warehouse storage building for individual rent. There are I believe it was one input or possibly two we received in favor. No, it was one written input in support of the change of the zoning, principally to end issues with vandalism, unauthorized trespass, and other activity within the structure. City has constantly been working overtime to keep it sealed up and closed to prevent further danger or nuisance from occurring within the premises. We are pleased that there is somebody has come forth on behalf of the church as the seller of the property to see a reuse of the property undertaken. This zoning is the first step in that action. The Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously recommended the approval of this zoning change to the council. Tonight, staff also continues to recommend and support this change from neighborhood service district to commercial.
Thank you. I will now open the public hearing and ask that anyone who wishes to come forward and speak in support or opposition of this item. Mr. Wilson did extend his disappointment for being unable to attend, but he appreciates your consideration on this item tonight. Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Any discussion or questions? All right, I will hear a motion.
I'll make a motion to move that we approve the change in zoning from neighborhood services to commercial.
And a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 19, discuss, conduct a public hearing, and act on an ordinance considering the petition of Donald Wilson on behalf of Sunrise Ministries International Church for a specific use permit for a self-storage mini warehouse in the city of Paris, Block 249, Lot 35-A, located at 3055 Clarksville Street, LCAD 17987. Mr. Mack?
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. This item was brought as the follow-up to the first part of this request to rezone the property, which you have now done. The SUP is the requirement on the ordinance for this use. Unfortunately, the details of the plan that were submitted lacked some specificity. Also, Mr. Wilson was unable to attend the hearing at the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting on May the 2nd. As a result, staff recommended, based on information that was not supplied required by the ordinance, to have this item, have the hearing opened and continued to their next meeting in June. And on that basis, staff has been working with Mr. Wilson to come up with the needed revisions to the plan, which he has essentially just about completed right now. And so staff is recommending you just open the hearing and continue this hearing until June 27th without taking further action this evening.
Thank you. I'll now open the public hearing and continue the hearing till our June 27th City Council meeting. Item number 20, discuss, conduct a public hearing, and act on an ordinance considering the petition of Geneva Knight for a change in zoning from a light industrial district, LI, to a one-family dwelling district number 2, SF2, in the city of Paris, Block 50, Lot 2, located at 1155 West Cherry Street. Mr. Mack?
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. The applicant's request is to demolish the home on the property, reconstruct. The zoning of the property does not currently allow for a dwelling of this nature to be constructed in the light industrial district. Hence, the request to change it to SF2. And we are recommending, on the basis of the future land use map indicating future use of this property for low-density residential, that the item be approved. That recommendation came from the Planning Commission, unanimous support, and staff recommends your approval of the zoning change this evening.
Thank you. I'll now open the public hearing and ask that anyone who wishes to come forward and speak in support or opposition of this item come forward. Seeing none, The public hearing is now closed. Any discussion or questions? I'll hear a motion, please.
I make a motion to change in zoning light industrial district LI to one-family dwelling district, number 2, SF2.
Thank you.
Second.
Second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 21, discuss and act on a resolution approving a residential tax abatement agreement with Paris, Lamar County Habitat for Humanity for the property located at Gibbons Park Addition, Block 2, Lot 22, and east 24 feet of Lot 23, 743 East Polk, LCAD property ID 11781. Mr. Mack?
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. It is with pleasure I bring you this item this evening. Initially a part of a 5-and-5 agreement, we are working diligently with Habitat to move them into a 5-and-5 agreement. Unfortunately, we don't have control over sufficient parcels to make that happen. So what we are bringing you is the opportunity for them to construct their home for this year at this location, 743 Polk. And it is with pleasure that we have representatives here this evening from Habitat for Humanity. And what I would like to do is invite a representative from their group to come up and speak about their request for a 5-year, 100% property tax abatement for city property taxes. This item will also be proceeding to the county to follow suit, as we have developed an excellent working relationship under this program now with the county. And so without further ado, I'd like to, Judy, would you like to come up? Or your president? Here comes the president.
Mark Whitney, 501 10th Street Southeast. The city has worked with us in many projects, and we try to work back and forth, making sure that our houses are built properly with the good materials. And this particular house, there's a young lady behind me named April that will be living in that house. And so we do appreciate that the city would act on this and allow her to move in with some tax abatement and with the blessing of the council. We try to build as many houses as we can. If we could build 5 a year, it'd be great, but we're struggling to build 1 a year. But we do appreciate the council's backing and the city. So
Thank you, Mr. Whitney. And with that, I will open a public hearing and ask that anyone who wishes to come forward and speak in support or opposition of this item, state your name and address. Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. I would like to say congratulations to the new homeowner-to-be. We're happy for you. I'll hear a motion.
I just had a quick comment. I know, Grace, I think you'll recall, when I got on to council, this is one of the first things I had kind of discussed with you, is working hand in hand with Habitat for Humanity. What a great program and what a great charity that we have in our community. I really appreciate city staff and our leadership here in our community to really work with them with our nonprofits. So I just want to commend you guys on that effort. Thank you.
And this will be the first Habitat home that will have that tax abatement, and that means a lot.
That's huge.
The executive director and the president of the board and some other board members are here too, and I know that that's a labor of love for those board members. All right?
All right, I'll make a motion to approve a 5-year, 100% residential tax abatement agreement with Paris, Lamar County Habitat for Humanity for the property located at 743 East Polk Street.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. Motion carries unanimously. You are welcome. Item number 22, discuss and act on an ordinance authorizing the issuance of a solid waste collection permit to William Peters, doing business as Trash Away Dumpster Rentals, LLC, pursuant to Section 12.04.42D of the Code of Ordinances. Passage of this ordinance requires 5 affirmative votes. Ms. Ellis?
Okay, Mr. William Peters is new to the city of Paris, and he's opening up a company, Trash Away Dumpster Rentals. He's filed an application, he's submitted the required insurance, and we're recommending that he gets approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion? All right, I'll hear a motion to approve.
I'll move that we approve the ordinance authorizing the issuance of a solid waste collection permit to Trash Away Dumpster Rentals, LLC.
And a second. Thank you, Mr. Pilgrim. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 23, discuss and act on an ordinance amending Chapter 12 Utilities, Article 12.04, Solid Waste of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Paris, Texas, making Section 12.04.006, placement of containers, bags, and bundles for residential collection to allow for 1 day per week residential solid waste pickup, making other findings and provisions related to the subject, providing a repealer clause, a severability clause, a savings clause, and a penalty clause, and declaring an effective date. Mr. Path?
Mayor Pro Tem, City Council. I provided to you an 8-page memo on this item. I'm going to try to cover the highlights on this tonight so I don't cover too much redundancy here, but this is obviously a very important topic, and so I wanted to be thorough as we talk about this important issue and try to answer all your questions as you have them. And also, too, we also have with us tonight, of course, Assistant City Manager Rob Vine, Public Works Director Michael Smith, as well as our Solid Waste Superintendent Ed Wayne Samus is also here as well to answer questions as well. As you all know, many of you are either you are employers or you work with a company or you've seen this in the country. Across America, there is a continual job labor shortage for lots of fields. The city of Paris is no stranger to that. We are struggling to maintain employment for a lot of our departments. Solid waste being the current pressing issue. Unlike most of our departments, we have some departments that if we lost employees, we could shut down temporarily. We cannot shut down solid waste. We have to keep that going. And so with this began about a year or so ago. We've always had trouble maintaining staffing in solid waste. It is what it is. It's hauling trash, picking up trash. It's a very dirty, smelly, hot, cold in the wintertime business, open to the elements, dangerous at times, and it doesn't pay as well. And so we have, thanks to the City Council, we have adjusted pay last year, but still it pays what it pays, and it is a tough job to be in. So with this, we have continued to see struggles maintaining staffing for our vehicles to maintain our routes in the community. So beginning a year or so ago, we got to the point where we had to begin to subsidize staffing with other public works departments. As you're aware, public works is streets, parks, traffic, water, sewer, CIP, and solid waste. Those are all under the public works umbrella under Mr. Smith as a director. And so with that, we began pulling 5 to 7 employees daily from other departments just to man our sanitation trucks. We run about 4 trucks a day, 5 if we can. Is 3 members per truck. That is for safety purposes. We're not looking to compromise on safety. We have a driver and 2 throwers in the back. So with that, we're looking at, given we have 8 routes, in order to run those 8 routes twice a week, we have to run 4 routes a day. That is 4 trucks a day, 5 if we can manage it. That is, again, 12 employees, 15 if we can throw it in there. So we are having to look at 5 to 7 employees in other departments to maintain staffing. We have historically managed to maintain around 6 to 7 or 8 solid waste employees. But again, because of the struggles with that line of work, we keep losing them. Hire, lose, and so forth. On that topic right there, I mean, we do work with a third-party hiring agency. They do a great job for us. We have an HR department of one. That's one person for 300-plus full-time employees, not to mention the seasonal and part-time staff we have. So we work with them. In Public Works alone, we had 59 hires last year. 56 of them have resigned and moved on. So we have a hard time keeping staffing in this department. To that point, we do know there is sometimes an image that people, when they see a job ad, they may see a place agency on the job ad. So we thought, in preparation for this upcoming summer, knowing summertime being our hardest time to keep staffing, we did a job fair advertising City of Paris. We thought maybe if we advertised our name on there, people may say, you know what, city benefits, city pay, which is typically lower than the private sector at times, but still, people tend to see cities as being a long-term solution. We had 3 people come to the job fair. We hired one. He resigned the next day. So unfortunately, it didn't work. It's the environment we're in. This is not just City of Paris. I actually met with the City of Bonham today, the city manager, for a different topic. Same issues there. I could have called any city manager today, same issues. I can call any corporate in town and same issues. And so it's just the way it is, unfortunately. But again, solid waste cannot shut down for a day. It has to keep on going. In your packets on the second page, you will see that I provide you a table showing our budgeted staffing numbers for the Public Works departments. We have budgeted 58 positions. That includes supervisors and clerical staff as well. There's about 5. There's 6 or 7 superintendents, director, and about 3 clerical staff. So if you subtract those out, that is our frontline crews. We are 28% down in our total numbers. Now, please remember, last 2 years, as we've been adjusting our pay, we've actually had to unbudget positions in the Public Works as well as some other departments in order for us to be able to manage the pay in order to try to retain employees there. So the 50 employees budgeted is still not optimum. We should have more than that if we want more effective, efficient work done. So we're down to 42. And if you look at the numbers there, the one that keeps striking me is streets. We should have 13 budgeted people. I'm down to 7 right now. All 7 threw trash today. No street work got done today unless they got done an hour too early. That's been going on that way since last year. Every day, streets does a day, parks does a day, CIP does a day, and water and sewer do a day. Again, each of those days that they're working on solid waste is a day the citizens are not getting a task done in those fields. So with this, again, we try to do 4 routes a day. That requires 12 employees. If we try to do all 8 routes twice a week, that is 4 routes a day. So that in order to get that done. So with this, we have to have 12 to 15 employees a day. So with this, I've also included in your packet there on the 3rd page another table. We did some comparison to other communities. We reached out to the same communities that we did for our pay study. Those communities are identified as being comparable to the City of Paris for size, population, distance from the metro area, and so forth. You can see that I left some information in there. We are one of 4 of those 13 that actually do provide city services for solid waste. The other 9 have privatized that out. Of that, it was actually surprising to me. I expected them to be a little bit lower than this, so I will admit that this is surprising to me. About 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of those communities do provide twice a week pickup. Those are all privatized services. We're the only non-privatized service that does twice a week. Mayor Portugal, did you have your hand up? I'm sorry.
Do you have that on where you can put it up for the audience?
I do not, no.
Okay.
No.
Because I think that was very helpful to see it in that form.
And I did not make a PowerPoint. I thought about doing that, but again, given how complicated this material here is, when you do a PowerPoint, sometimes you have to cut and splice. I didn't want anything in here to be pulled out, to be taken out of context. So we'll have our memo available to anyone who wishes to see the information here.
Thank you.
With this, some other points in this information, we are below average on our monthly charge. We are actually $2 below average on our monthly charge. We are the second lowest of the cities. and go from there. So, I also included on your packet here a table showing the condition of our fleet. We have 6 vehicles in our fleet. We have 2 that are in good condition, 2 in fair, and 2 in poor condition. Those all cost about $180,000 a piece. We try to buy one every 2 years. You actually do have a piece of your bill that's dedicated towards build up for the next sanitation truck. So it takes about 2 years to build up enough to fund that. And it's getting to the point today that's not even enough to buy a sanitation truck. The next table I have in here, I've given you the last 6 completed fiscal years, so you can see the revenue and expense for the sanitation department. I will note that the last time we raised our rates in sanitation was 12 years ago, 2010. We have not had a rate increase, to the information I've been given to me, we've not had a rate increase in 12 years. So it was a sizable increase at the time. It's been enough to carry us to this point. We have started to see in recent years that has been eating away more and more. Fuel cost increases. The recent pay study that we did for some costs there. The landfill charges. We do maintain a long-term contract for landfill services. Just overall costs have been going up, but again, we have not raised rates in 12 years. The key thing here I would point out, what staff have done an excellent job of trying to keep the costs low, trying to maintain, trying to bid things out, find alternative options, and so forth. But nevertheless, with that slow creep going on, you will see that a big part of our revenue source is trying to fund the general fund, the street departments, and so forth. As you know, the trash trucks are the #1 heavy truck user of all streets, more so than delivery trucks, more so than any other vehicle there. So it's only appropriate that the sanitation department assist with trying to subsidize street repair. As you will see the last several years, that subsidy has gone down from $414,000 to $292,000. We've dropped it almost $130,000 so far, and that will probably continue to happen. Again, that's being made up by property taxes. So it costs what it costs to maintain streets. Either we raise property tax or raise sanitation rates to do that. And again, given sanitation is a primary user of our roads, it makes sense that bill help cover some of the cost of maintaining our streets. I'll also note that this last year, I identified in the sanitation department, we had about $100,000 dedicated towards housing demolition and mowing. That's actually a code enforcement matter. This goes back years. I'm not sure of the logic that was put into putting in sanitation, but we were using sanitation funds to pay for that. I moved that out of the sanitation department, put it under code enforcement where it belongs for transparency and appropriateness. So that did help free up some additional funds. But again, overall, the last several years, there's been a very, very slim difference between revenue and expense for that budget here. I think all we have successfully do is just stay the inevitable. The costs continue to rise, so eventually the revenue will not be enough to cover that cost. Getting to the status of the issue right now, we lost 2 more employees 2 weeks ago now. Last Monday, Public Works Director Mr. Smith, as well as Assistant City Manager Rob Vine, came to my office on Monday afternoon. I had other things going on that day. I had another vision for that week, and then they came in and just dropped the bomb on my desk, and there we went. But we've learned that we had lost 2 more employees, and so we were now looking at having 5 to 7 employees in the subsidizing to now 7 to 9 employees a day. Other departments having to subsidize. Again, if I could hire them, I would hire them. We would get them started tomorrow, but we just cannot find the people to do it, unfortunately, right now. So with this, we are heading into the hottest part of the year, the summer. This is the hardest time to keep staff. It is just a hot, sweaty, stinky business, particularly when the trash is hot, it's smelly, it's just a miserable business. We tend to see more turnover this time of year. There's a lot of discontent among the staff right now. Those who wish they could be doing their other duties cannot, and honestly, frankly, they didn't sign to throw trash, and they do let us know that. They have been hard working. They have fought through this for a year, so I give them every bit of kudos for what they've done for us. They have pushed hard for a year trying to maintain that service for us, but eventually we're tend to lose staff. The discontent is growing. The summer months are coming, and having lost 2 more employees with really no end in sight of maintaining solid waste employees, it reached to the point where the superintendents asked, "Hey, please, can we do something different? Can we do something in order to make this more doable for solid waste, but also for streets, parks, water, sewer, and CIP? So with this, we called an emergency meeting of the superintendents last Monday evening. We discussed the issue. We came up with 4 options. Option number 1 is continue as is. Option 2 is what I'll discuss tonight, is to go from twice a week pickup to once a week pickup, and I'll discuss that more in a few minutes here. Option 3, of course, is privatize the service. Option 4 is to pursue some mechanical arm equipment. The nice thing about option 4 would be we would go from, in theory, 3 employees per truck to 1 employee per truck, which is a driver. That we've been discussing that for the last 6 months. Unfortunately, that would require, it's about $250,000 per truck. Our trucks cannot be retrofitted as they are right now. Plus, we'd have to buy the appropriate cans for every home. So there's a large upfront expense. That will not happen tomorrow. That's going to take time to do all that. And plus, we know there's discussion amongst different groups about whether that's the route we want to take with a large upfront expense of money there. So looking at the options here, obviously option 4, mechanical arm, is nowhere near in the near realm of options for us. Option 3, privatizing the service, that's going to require an extensive conversation amongst the council, a lot of research, deciding if this is what we want to do or not. That will not solve today's issue right now. Option 1 cannot continue, honestly. Again, we cannot continue to maintain the service of other departments and do option 1 still. Option 2 is to go from a twice a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, to a once a week pickup, which would be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday pickup. Again, we would take the 8 routes that we have currently, which is about 4 in the north, 4 in the south. We would divide into 4 quadrants, roughly. We would then do 2 routes a day. That'd be 2 trucks, 3 if we can manage it. If we can hire the staff, it'd be 3 trucks to get it done faster. With that should, barring further loss of employees in solid waste, that should get our other public works departments out of the solid waste and back to what we need them to be doing: streets, parks, mowing, those repairs of waters and sewer, and so forth. Now, we do foresee it being a little bit heavier pickup each day. We'd be going from a half a week's worth of trash to a full week's worth of trash. Again, the key thing is we're still hauling the same amount of trash away. We're not losing service in that respect. We're still hauling all the trash away. It's just happening in 1 day a week now, unfortunately. Now, with this, to make this change tonight, we would have to amend our code. Currently, I, as a city manager, I have the authority to make some adjustments like this. However, under Section 12.04.006D, it references a second day of pickup, so we would need to amend that out of the code, as well as, given this is a major change to our service, I felt it appropriate that I seek your counsel before I make such a large change. We do know there will be some frustration among citizens. They're used to having twice a week. I personally enjoy that. If I had another option, I would pursue that. But again, the staffing is an issue. So with this, going back to what I was saying before, city staff will examine the existing 8 routes, and we will make some minor adjustments to even them all out, and would run 2 routes per day, thus 2 trucks, and a third if we can manage that. All right, and as for the bulk pickup, right now we typically do bulk pickup on Wednesdays, but per our city code 12.04.008, any citizen can contact Public Works and schedule an appointment. I do that myself. I schedule appointments for pickup, and Solid Waste will schedule that with you. Well, we may move those to Fridays, but otherwise we can schedule those throughout the week. We have a special boom truck now. We can do large pickups like that. So with this, there's also some added benefits for the employees. This can allow them some options for rest periods for the week and so forth, as well as taking some holidays off. Right now, I just read the email from Public Works. We'll be working through Memorial Day. We've got to haul trash, but this may allow some options to be able to shift the week a little bit to give our employees some. Right now, I think all they get is Christmas and Thanksgiving off, and so this will allow some opportunities to be able to get some other holidays that other employees get to have. So with this, the benefits of shifting from twice a week to once a week, as I see it, are the current solid waste staff. The current solid waste staff can typically, again, barring any further staff shortages, handle the daily routes, allowing other public works departments to go about their normal duties. That's one benefit. A second benefit: the change will alleviate growing frustration and discontent among the existing public works employees, particularly going into the summer hot months. The third benefit that I see here is it will reduce the mileage trucks must travel each week. Right now, we are traveling each road twice a week. We'll go to once a week. There'll be a reduction in mileage, and thus wear and tear on our vehicles. That should reduce the wear and tear on our trucks, which again, we have some trucks in poor condition. This will allow us to more strategize those vehicles and spread it out a little bit more. And fourthly, a shift to Monday through Thursday will provide greater opportunity to give staff a greater rest period over the weekend, which might, again, help some job satisfaction, maybe keep some employees a little more long-term. Getting to with this too, I'll get to the budget here shortly. But so the amendment we would propose to you tonight is under 12.04.006D. We would amend two things. One, we would increase the limit from 6 bags to 12 bags. Basically, we're doubling it up in one period there. So that way, we recognize that people are used to throwing out 6 bags every 2 days. Now let them do 12 bags on the one day. And then secondly, there's a strike of the language there to remove the second day language in the code there. So with this, looking at the budget, there's going to be some savings in wear and tear. There could be some savings in fuel and so forth. The primary savings overall is that we are giving time and work back to the streets, the parks, the CIP, and water and sewer budgets right now. Right now, we're spending salary in those departments to do solid waste. That is work not being done in other places of the city. So we'd be putting the budget back into those departments' hands to get some more work done. Now, I know this is going to come up, so I wanted to discuss it tonight. The primary concern that we see citizens having is the idea that this is a reduction in service. Therefore, there should be a reduction in monthly rate. Now, with this, that would make sense on the initial cut, but again, I want to remind you, we've not had a rate increase in 12 years. Costs have been going up. Addressing this issue requires a shift in what people think of as a service. The service is, in fact, collecting the solid waste that people generate each week and is related to the volume of waste collected, is not related to the frequency in collection. We are hauling trash away each week. Our codes, as you read the codes, it's about hauling the trash away, not the number of times we pull them away. Now, if we can do it twice a week, absolutely we should. Unfortunately, it's not a possibility right now under our current system. So going back to my earlier section above, given the last rate increase was 12 years ago, given our costs are going up, given we are still taking away the same amount of trash each week, and given we have consistently been cutting into the property tax subsidy for street maintenance, we recommend not adjusting the rates at this time. If any reduction were to occur, it would be strictly come from the reduction in staff, because our other costs remain the same. Our landfill fees are going to be the same because we're still hauling the same amount of trash at landfills. Fuel might reduce slightly, but again, given we're hauling more trash on a daily basis, fuel may not adjust much. So we're still going to see a lot of the same expenses, but we are going to be able to maybe cut 3, possibly 6 employees in the budget in the future. So the best I could see us doing is probably $1 a month. A reduction. That's the best I can think we can give if we were to do anything here. But again, given rising costs, given we should probably reconsider the pay for these employees, I may be asking for that money right back again anyways. So with that, our recommendation tonight is to amend the ordinance to 12.04.006D, as we discussed, to go from twice a week to once a week. I would entertain any questions or thoughts you have, any guidance, any other ideas, anything that we can do differently. We're open to trying to solve this issue.
Mr. Path, thank you. That's an excellent presentation, and it's a dire situation, and I want to publicly thank Mr. Samus and Mr. Smith and their departments that have been dealing with this. There are, out of the 13 cities that you included in this study, I want to point out that only 4 still have a city-run solid waste collection, and also that our rates, even though we haven't had an increase in 12 years, we're still lower than 6 other cities that you presented us. And more cities, I think 7 of those 13 cities only have once per week collection. So it's been a luxury that I think we've all enjoyed, but I don't think we can do it to the detriment of Mr. Smith's other departments in Public Works. But I support going to once a week, though it's with hesitation, because I know it's going to be a concern to some people. If you have a big family and a lot of children, a lot of dirty diapers. But at the same time that we look at this, I think we need to, and as immediately or as soon as possible, start looking at privatization. Council?
Yeah, I agree. And you may have discussed this, I may have missed this point, but what is the, as far as economics, privatization versus going to once a week, what would be which one would be the greater benefit?
I don't have a good answer for that tonight. We'd have to do some pretty extensive research and to see what's a monthly charge, the timing. I don't have answers for that tonight. I apologize. The big thing, though, is unfortunately that will take lots of time in preparing a proper RFP, getting bids back, reviewing those, designing the contract structure. It could be a 6-month or longer process to get from the day we say go to getting a contract signed. It would be some time doing that.
And do you think a pay raise would help retain employees? Because what is our unemployment rate here is 4.5%. So people are working somewhere. If it's only 4.5. So what would have we considered what would bring him here? I'm sure you have, but
yes, yeah. I mean, last year we did do an additional stipend for a period when we were in the hardest, around that August, September, October period, when we were in the most dire strait. I probably should come back to you. I probably should have come to you then at that time, and but we started pulling staff in. We actually gave a $2 per hour stipend for our solid waste employees and our other employees there. Our numbers did get back a little higher during the winter months, but again, now they plummeted even further than they were before since that time. And,
did that stipend go to the temporary workers as well?
Yes, yeah. We extended to them as well. So in fact, that's actually still going on right now. We do have we have a current program with RPM right now, a third party hiring service that if an employee puts in a full 40 hours a week, they get an additional 80 hours paid to them. You have to put the full 40 hours in because, again, we have people who come for a day, leave. So we're trying to incentivize you, you're going to stay with us. So we have that currently in the workshop. We have that currently going on. We've had it going on for several months now.
Yeah. And another thing, maybe we should, I'm not sure what the restrictions are as far as people being employed at the City of Paris, but I know at my job, we had to lift some restrictions. I mean, we started hiring, because we needed a lot of people, so we started, kind of changing our standards a little bit.
We have done that definitely as well. I don't want to get into that in a public forum, but we have extensively and deeply looked at our screening process.
Okay.
So opening it up a fair amount.
Grace, and I'll sympathize. I get it. I've been dealing with it, and I've talked to you many times about this. You can put an ad out, you can put out money, you can put out benefits. A lot of times that doesn't matter. And so I'll say this, I get it. I feel it, maintenance guy, front desk, I get it. I totally get it. So I pray that we find some good help. We need relief. I think our city staff need relief. I would hate to continue down this cycle and lose folks from other departments. So that morale, we need to get back, and I'm willing to support whatever we need to do to get that going. I hope one day we could potentially go back to 2 a day or a 2 a week trash pickup. That would be wonderful. Yeah. That's a great luxury that, like I was mentioning, if someone's trying to move in, I'm not saying that that's the nail in the coffin to say, hey, you guys pick up trash twice a week. Why not? I'm not saying that that's the greatest benefit as a citizen, but that's definitely a luxury there. And that's something that people look at. I would say that, at the end of the day, we have some hard decisions to make. And unfortunately, this is the climate that we're in terms of unemployment. And hopefully, if there are some citizens listening out there that are interested in getting a job, maybe you can go ahead and come down to City Hall and sign up. We need some help. But, whatever we've got to do, I absolutely agree, Mayor Portugal, on looking at maybe privatizing. You guys came up with some great options here, but I can see how option 4 and option 3 are kind of out of the scope for today's standards, but maybe we can start looking at that in the future conversation, so.
Well, I thought it was a very thorough, very, very thorough and well-thought-out presentation, and a look at the situation. I sympathize every Thanksgiving and Christmas holiday when I see the trucks out running late at night after it's way dark, and very much appreciate the staff and their commitment to the city. What do they think about this? They think once a week would be a good answer?
This is their idea, and so yeah, this came directly from them. I did a chance to talk to Mr. Smith today, and he said the employees would be very excited to see this change occur. They feel this will solve a lot of the problem that they're feeling right now.
Well, you know, we've talked about this as well, and, you know, we even talked about privatization also, and this would be one step towards that, getting the residents used to once a week pickup. Maybe, perhaps, I don't know.
Perhaps, yeah.
But, you know, I mean, I brought that to you because I was concerned about the lack of staff and all of that. But what about, I guess the time driving to Blossom to dump the trucks isn't as big an issue as the 2-day-a-week pickup?
It's still an issue, and that's why if we can manage a third truck a day, that can be a runner. Whenever a truck fills up, we can then fill it in, take one driver to drive to Blossom, and the other driver and the 2/3 can keep on going the route. So that we would like to be able to maintain 3 trucks a day because that is time spent off the route. We are thankful that Blossom is closer compared to other landfills. We discussed that last time. That is a big benefit for us. It would be a lot more convenient if the landfill was closer, but at the same time, there's other issues that come with having a landfill right in your back door. One thing that if we were to continue the sanitation service, we might look at a transfer station as an option. In short, what that is instead of every individual trash truck driving to the landfill, they would drive to a building in town, dump the trash out into an 18-wheeler vehicle. Sanitation Solution does this, and then the 18-wheeler, once it's full up, takes it out. That way, our sanitation guys, the throwers, and the driver can just get right back out to the field. That's a high upfront expense in order to build the structure. It's typically a 2-tier structure, usually a lower level, high level. I had one in my last community. But again, we would need to seriously discuss if we're going to privatize or not, because I hate for us to drop that kind of money into something like that just to have us privatize. So.
Well, I would certainly support going to a 1-day-a-week pickup.
Yeah.
I hate to do that, but it sure beats raising the rates, and it sure beats having a lot of employees quitting on us. So if that's going to help retain employees, then I'll support you.
I support going from 2 to 1. I hate it. We love our second day pickup, especially. We've got young kids and we create a lot of trash. I don't know where it all comes from, but we do. In the second sense too, I think this is something that's been brewing. Years ago, this was brought to the council. It was shot down, I believe, by petition and several other political motivations. I'm not really sure what all happened then, but I think it's something we've definitely got to look at now. As private, I mean, we're competing against Republic Services, Sanitation Solutions, Waste Management. Those are multinational companies. They've got a lot of employees. And Sanitation Solutions is owned by a conglomerate company, a bigger human resources department. They own the actual dumps. They have the trash transfer stations. They have the new state-of-the-art equipment. They can also hire and pay and keep staffed, and we're competing against that, I guess is what I'm saying. And it's hard to do that in a city, and we got to maintain what we have. We've got to continue to provide good water and sewer services and street services and parks and library, and we've got everything else in the world to take care of. It's hard to be good at 30 things. It's really good it's a lot better to be good at 10 or 12 things, you know. And so I think privatization is at the end of the deal. I think we have to go in that direction. I hope that the way that the citizens look at that is maybe we go back to a 2-day deal when we go privatize, because they have the staff, they have the trucks, they have the ability, and they might even be, they may be cheaper than we are. We don't, I think it's something we have to go down the tunnel and look at very, very seriously. But today I'm all about going from 2 to 1. I understand it. It's everybody from the ag industry to the hotel and hospitality to the manufacturing to teachers. I mean, everybody's behind on staffing right now, and we're in a growth spurt. Paris, Texas, Lamar County, Northeast Texas is growing, and we're having growing pains, and that's part of it too.
Yeah, I too support the going from 2 days to 1. I understand we definitely have employee shortages. I also understand that Mr. Smith and the rest of the staff, it's important to keep the morale up with your employees, because you just create a distinction amongst the workers, and we just need to know that we're looking to take care of them. And it's more importantly that they brought this to you and to Mr. Smith, and that means that you're listening to him, so that's also important. I do know I've already received complaints about it, but this is a necessary change, and we're in a position to make hard decisions, and sometimes, in most cases, hard decisions are the right decisions.
Yeah.
So I fully support it as well.
And a great point that we really need to push to the city is that we're not cutting the amount of trash that we pick up. It's just being picked up on one day.
Mm-hmm.
So the same amount of trash, you can just bulk it up, throw it out there in one day instead of 2. So you just have to hold on to it for a little while.
But I would like, if you would, Mr. Path, just get back to us on the privatization aspect of it and just run the numbers by us so we can understand that.
Yeah, allow me some time on that. We're heading into the busy budget months,
Yes,
and so what I'd recommend is we proceed in the budget process as if we will control it and so forth. Because then once I get more of the budget off my plate, we can start to hit heavy, Mr. Vine and I, trying to figure out the process, the route. Are there any available cost numbers we can look at to see the differences there? I can try to find some communities who've done it before, see what they went from to, and go from there. But give me some time to work on that, and I'll bring it back to you sometime within this year.
Yes, sir. It's no rush.
Yep.
The only situation there, with 2 of our trucks being in poor condition, I would hate to have to see us purchase a new truck.
Mm-hmm.
But with 1 day a week service, we will need less trucks, I
We
suppose.
will, yes,
So
yes. Yeah, when one truck does go out, we'll be able to rotate another one in and to fill the void in with that. So this will extend the life of some of our vehicles.
good.
I too agree with going from 2 to 1, me being a business owner and being short-staffed sometimes. I believe in taking care of your employees that you have where they won't leave, so
Yeah.
I support going 1 day.
Great point.
All right. Thank you. Good input from all the council, I believe.
Do we have to give him
We have
a
to
motion?
approve an amendment to the ordinance, yes.
On,
It'd be amending, it'd be there's an ordinance in your packet to approve that ordinance, which is amending section 12.04.006D.
okay, all right. I'll hear a motion.
I'll move that we approve an ordinance amendment to section 12.04.006D as stated, thus authorizing the city manager to proceed under section 12.04.007 with reducing the route collection from twice a week to once a week.
I'll
And-
second.
Second, thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Motion is unanimous.
Thank you.
Item number 24, discuss and possibly act on procedures for conducting annual evaluations of the city manager, city attorney, and municipal judge.
Mayor Portugal, I know we discussed this last time, and I know we wanted to wait. We had some counselors that were missing, but we wanted to make sure and see if they wanted to kind of get involved and volunteer. The one big question I had was, I know that we were looking at potentially having the employees that we evaluate, come up with their own evaluation, which I know the city manager, Grace Path, had done that last year. That's not a problem. With the other two, can we give them that option and then set a time to potentially get that back to council, so that way we can review it, make sure we're good with it, and then set a time for deadlines to when we can receive these? Is that a good way that you guys have done it in the past, potentially?
Yes, that works for me. Is there any council member who'd like to volunteer to work with Mahir and Reginald?
So developing, evaluation process?
And looking at dates that we will do. It's a lot to do 3 at once, so we've spread that out over 3, but that would be for the committee to decide.
Okay, I'll volunteer. Cool.
Thank you, Mr. Savage. All right. We'll get that started. Item number 25, consider and approve future events for city council and/or city staff pursuant to resolution number 2004-081. Anyone have anything? All right. I'll hear a motion and a second for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
And all in favor say aye. Unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.